You will find out how many patriots there are. You were one of these around your town or city, you'll meet enough folks in a few months walking around the streets to form a huge organization politically. Also, Deep Cleanse is an amazing system of key herbs and other compounds to detoxify the body. It's 20% off until Wednesday, and your purchase helps fund this operation. It really is an amazing product. Just take a dropper full under the tongue every day. It works in synergy with the X2, the other great products like DNA Force at InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. An internal FEMA report being reported on by Vice, it's on Drudge, says 300+% food increases the next few years. That's what the government thinks is going to happen. All I know is you need to get storable foods, and the best place to get them is InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWars Select, 15% off. We're running that for 1 week only. It's not 30% off, but it's already a super low price, folks. We can't always offer 30% off, but 15% is the best I can do, and we already have the lowest price out there. Okay, Jakari, other points that I haven't raised. What else is on your radar, my friend, in this bizarro world?
Well, it's a very strange time, Alex. Just as you were talking about many of the things there, the Hillary for President T-shirts, as you said, it's a great way to meet like-minded people. Every time we go out to the rallies, we see a lot of these just around town. I see people wearing the Hillary for President T-shirts. I haven't seen too many around here, but you can understand why that is. But as we continue to do the reports out here, we're going to have some reports coming in where we have people flying the drone around the border trying to get various footage out there, and we have many more things that we hope to get lined up, a couple of interviews we're looking into, so hopefully we'll have all those reports in the next day or so.
Well, incredible job. I mean, every time you guys go down there, you just absolutely, it's national news. I mean, you guys caught with Biggs, all the drugs being brought in, and, you know, all the rest of it. It's just crazy that our media could be doing this, but they won't do it. It's not that, I mean, we are good. We work hard. Our crew is wonderful. But it's not that I'm even that good. It's that they won't do their job. I mean, how many news items a week do we break nationally? It's like every day, Jakari.
Yeah, it's a lot. Watson's way up there. Many of the other guys do pretty well putting that stuff out in the news cycle.
Well, you're doing a great job, too. And again, it's not about just, oh, you're great, I'm great. But I just want to talk about the great crew, the great guests we have, and the fact that we're having an effect. And I want the listeners to know, supporting the broadcast, spreading the word, signing up for the free newsletter, buying the products, all of it is really having a big effect, supporting our local stations, Jakari. I mean, it's amazing to see how we're really changing the narrative back towards reality.
Yeah, it is a big effect. You know, just like everything we do, whether people, they parrot it or they do some kind of hit piece off of it or whatever else, it's definitely out there in the consciousness.
And this is the mainstream media with a 6% trust rate. When they attack us, it's like a badge of courage. It's like having a child molester salon, you know, the child molester site that's constantly writing articles about child molesting is great and everything, or how great child molesters are attacking us. I mean, great. A site that promotes child molestation and guys liking 5-year-old girls hates us, thank God. Jakari Jackson, great job, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll be back with David Knight and more, but I'm doing 5 more minutes. Infowars.com/show. Spread that link, folks. Support our local stations. Look, I'm not complaining, but I am just exhausted. And by exhausted, to watch them roll out total open borders, lawlessness, the UN running it, and every other law being ignored by a group of criminals that are looting the entire nation, and they're openly pushing, arresting people that disagree with the government in the Democratic Party platform, I am entering the twilight zone. I mean, I knew this was all coming, but it is something else to actually see it unfold. Look at this article. I didn't even get to this today, by Paul Watson, Infowars.com. And there's like articles on Drudge with, you know, Muslim women freaking out and attacking gay people. Just, you know, it's like, dude, in their own countries, they will stone you to death if a woman is seen walking around without her head covered. I mean, I don't want to sign up to something beyond Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate all rolled into one. I don't like cults, man. I got a bunch of weird people calling themselves liberals saying I'm closed-minded and Islamophobic. A phobia is being scared of something that isn't scary. I'm somebody that'll swim in the ocean at night. Other people don't go to the Texas coast and swim out 200 yards under a moon. I do it because I enjoy it. I mean, I was fearless when I was like 11, 12 years old, just go out swimming at night. I'm not sitting there saying I'm Mr. Courage here, but I love the people calling me a coward because No, they're bringing in people that are so dysfunctional, their countries have fallen apart, and so-called liberals are bringing it in, worshiping Hillary, who she claims loves gay people, and she gets more money from folks that kill people like that than you can ever imagine. I'm just sick of what frauds you are. Cultural enrichment. Muslim smashes up Swedish church. Italian saint defaced with Allah Akbar graffiti. European multiculturalism continues to work wonders. And I mean, we see these stories every hour now. I was at the mall and saw women in full hijabs and burqas by themselves in groups, and then saw their men around other corners and actually had them going. And I mean, I know there's other Muslim waves that aren't bad people and fleeing the radicalness and all that. The point is they're bringing in folks from the worst places that run around killing their fellow Muslims. And the Pope is running around shooting his mouth off, and I'm just personally sick of it. But look at this. Kit Daniels came in and pointed this out. In 2014, he wrote, Border Patrol agents, this is from them, UN taking control of America's southern border. Under the pretense of labeling illegals refugees, UN personnel working with DHS to ship MS-13 gang members in the U.S., says agent. And now, 2 years later, after we break all this and show them admitting it and show the buses shipping them in, ABC News, UN, more Central Americans headed to U.S., and the newscast admits they're illegal, but they're legalized instantly by a magic fiat. There's not even border agents there. They just put them at the bus stop with money. And now these new waves are almost all men. Watch the video. I mean, it is just crazy. And man, I was sitting there with that customs agent Saturday. He looked me up and down, asked me all these questions. I kept answering him. He kept asking me questions again. Called my kids over, called my parents over, and asked them all questions. And just sat there looking at us, not hatefully, but just real serious. Got to check you because we know full well who you are. We got to check you because you have no criminal record. We got to check you real close, buddy. Because you're a big fat milk cow that pays this government a lot of taxes. It's good to be a slave. The land of the free, home of the cowards. I tell you, it's sickening. Infowars.com, though, is reaching people more than ever. We're under attack because we're having an effect. We're the best ammo for the fight. Get our videos, get our articles, get the links to listen to the show out to everybody you know. Infowars.com/show. David Knight, straight ahead. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Monday, June 27th, 2016. We have a major Supreme Court decision. I don't want to tell you a little bit about what's behind that. We also have another example of Obama's monumental theft and fraud. And this is happening all across the country. We've done a report. I did one with Rob Jacobson about the millions upon millions of acres that Obama is stealing. And yet today he's come out with a new monument. He's made a monument of Stonewall Inn in New York City. Now, this is an LGBT monument, and I have to look at this and wonder, is Obama going to take all of New York City as part of this monument? Because, you see, that would be the parallel to what he's doing across the country. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We're also going to talk about some Trump news as well as the whiny millennials and Brexit and what's really behind that. Let's talk about the Supreme Court decision first. Now, this is the report on it from the Wall Street Journal. Headline says, Supreme Court rejects the Texas abortion law as an undue burden. An undue burden. Now, understand this was a 5-3 vote, so it would not have made any difference if Scalia had been around. It would have been a 5-4 vote. This was made possible because we had Anthony Kennedy, who many people thought, well, it's going to be a 4-4 split. It will go back to a lower court, which has already thrown out this charge. They've already lost at the lower level. So the law will stand. The Texas law will stand. But that didn't happen. Instead, we had a justice that was appointed by Ronald Reagan, joining 2 justices from Clinton and 2 justices from Obama. See how that works? See, it's not a very good strategy, is it, to try to make sure that the Constitution is going to be saved by appointing judges. Yeah, it's a good idea to try to do that. We should try to appoint judges who will rule according to law. But understand that there's a lot of judges there already, and of course it's going to get worse if Hillary Clinton wins. She's going to appoint the types of judges that ruled here that said, we don't care what the law says, we don't care what the legal procedure is, we like abortion, and that's it. And if you think that's a stupid characterization of this, an oversimplification of it, it's not. The first thing that this dissent from Alito talks about, and let's go back to the law first, okay? This is something going back to 2013. This is a Texas law. It was signed in by Rick Perry. And what it did was it required abortion clinics to have the same standards that ambulatory surgical centers would have, that they would have physicians there who were really physicians. They were admitted to hospital privileges within 30 miles. They also enacted a lot of other safety regulations that previously had not been enacted against abortion clinics. Things like smoke detectors and making sure that you can get a gurney through the aisles of the little house. And in many cases, these were not purpose-built clinics. Many of these were just simply homes that had been repurposed as an abortion clinic, residential homes. And so there were impediments in terms of being able to get somebody out of there in case an emergency procedure had occurred. Wouldn't you think those would be reasonable? Wouldn't you think that if this really was about women's health, as we're being told, that they would want to have these kinds of safeguards in there? You see, it brilliantly called the bluff of these people who simply want to murder babies as part of a eugenics agenda. And we've exposed that over and over again. That's how this started with Margaret Sanger. It's how it started with Planned Parenthood. You can go back and you can see the writings of the Democrats and the Republicans, all the generations of the George Bush family, going back to Prescott Bush, and then going through George H.W. as well as just recently in the debates. Remember when Jeb was talking about how, well, we stopped the funding. We had about 500,000 or whatever the number was. I can't remember. It was essentially 30 times the amount of money he donated with his private organization to Planned Parenthood. But publicly what he did was he stopped a little bit of funding from the state of Florida. That's the way the Bushes have been. And, of course, his grandfather was the first treasurer of Planned Parenthood, along with Margaret Sanger. We've shown you the letters. We've shown you the letters from George H.W. Bush and so forth and so on. So we've had a long history of the elites in both the Republican and Democrat Party who are interested, quite frankly, in eugenics. And they're not interested in women's health. And this is similar to the situation that we had when we had the EPA under Lisa Jackson. We talked about this many times. It was the first story I covered when I got here. They were hooking people up to tailpipes of diesel motors, okay, putting them in a room at the University of North Carolina. And, of course, University of North Carolina, I got a little bit of news on them as well here. A news story about them. Christmas vacation is now a microaggression, along with terms like boyfriend and girlfriend and I love your shoes. Things like that, okay. UNC in Chapel Hill is a loony bin. I used to live close to there, and I can tell you that it is over the top. It's like a university in California or something. But anyway, at UNC, along with the EPA, they were hooking people up to diesel tailpipes. They had asked for volunteers who had respiratory issues, who had heart issues, because they wanted people to have problems. And they did. They found some people who did have some problems. And we had a spot-on researcher who was working, Steve Malloy, who was working on this and noticed it and expanded it. We tried to get that stopped. But here's the point. We'd had Lisa Jackson go before Congress and say, I'm not talking about people getting sick. I'm talking about people dying from this. And so we have to do more to squash diesel engines and to enact more regulations from the EPA. She actually said that. It was a dog and pony show that was orchestrated and scripted by Markey out of Massachusetts. He was a congressman at the time. Now he's moved up because he does stuff like that. He's now a senator. So they scripted this thing and said, no, we're talking about it killing people. And then they go out and they expose these people to 72 times the level that they said was already fatal. So we said, wait, is this a war crime situation, or are you just lying to people when you said it was going to kill people? So when you look at these laws with the Texas abortion law, they say, oh, we just are here for women's health. We say, oh, really? Well, then let's make sure that these are safe procedures. So they call their bluff and they put out this law there. and it was struck down.